Welcome to NXT. Now, before we get started, I gotta say a few things about Raw. Now, Raw, I'm sure, has been pre-recorded because Jess, Alex, and JD did not review it. They didn't care about reviewing a pre-recorded show, so they didn't do it. For me personally, the only reason I didn't do it was not because it was pre-recorded, but because I have not been feeling Raw. I've been watching it, and I wrote notes, but I go by the premise, if I'm not feeling it, even after I write my notes and ready to go and record, I'm not doing it. And when it comes to Raw, it's barely been something I've been interested in to do a review of it and record. But I have to say something here because a few things is stupid, a few things are okay, and a few things are where they're going. Look, I gotta say this about the opening match when it came to Nikki Cross against Bianca Belair. That was bullshit. You bring back Nikki Cross as Nikki Cross from Sanity. And then you give her first match as Nikki Cross against Bianca Belair where you know 100% she's not winning, where she should win, where we should have Nikki Cross. No. If anybody liked it, anybody was happy with the match, everybody is fine with Nikki Cross losing, more power to you. But to me, that's bullshit. It was stupid. Beyond stupid to reset Nikki to Nikki Cross that people have been wanting for years, and instead of letting her be on her own trek to build herself up so she could go up against a Bianca eventually, like at Survivor Series maybe, or even after that, we get this. This is bullshit. This is supposed to set up for what's going on when they go to Crown Jewel, and it's dumb because it does not help. I don't care if Triple H booked this. I don't care if Bruce Pritchard booked this. I don't care who booked it. It was dumb. Now, I'll give it to you like this. Austin Fury dealing with Seth Rollins was a good match. And it does help Austin Fury. The question is going to be what's going to happen next with Seth. Now, we already know what's going on, but still. The Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley breakout fight was fine. I did like it. And hearing Triple H scream, if they touch each other one more time, the match is off. You really thought once Triple H saw Brock attack him when he's telling Brock, if you go at him, there's no match. There should be no match. Because that's what he screamed at them both at the same time saying the match is off. Tell them both the match is off. I did not hear him say the match is going to be off if they touch each other one more time. He sounded like he said the match is now off permanently. Now, of course, that's not true. They are facing each other in Crown Jewel. But still, you hear that, you wonder. Now, let's make this clear. The Roman Reigns segment with The Miz was alright. But here's the problem with me. It's not about that segment that you see The Miz trying to kiss a little ass to get Dexter Lumis off his back. I am not feeling this entire segment of Johnny Gargano trying to whistle blow on a Miz. This storyline sucks. I'm saying it now. The storyline, I'm not feeling it. It sucks. Anybody else is probably like, maybe just Alex is liking it, maybe JD's liking it. I'm not feeling it because it doesn't feel important. Because The Miz isn't important. If it was something that The Miz was being something, it just doesn't feel it for me personally. I'm not feeling it. What was it? I can't remember what it was. Let me give it to you like this. The Trick or Treat street fight was a street fight. That's what I felt about Raw. Now, let's do NXT. Gotta turn my notes around. I am not going to be heavily detailed in NXT because this was an okay show, but was it an important show? Not really. Opening, we get the Pretty Deadly dealing with the North American champion, dealing with the NXT champion. This is all about setting up a match in the middle of the night, which I knew they weren't going to win. I'm sorry. I wasn't feeling NXT actually going to do something surprising, like letting the North American and the NXT champion actually win. I ain't feeling it. And then we get R-Truth as they're doing their bits. We get R-Truth coming out again. Look, guys, I love me some R-Truth. I am. But let me ask you a question. Seeing R-Truth back and then seeing him get hurt is not great. I'm telling you. Him coming back doing what he was doing, working in Raw, working in SmackDown, working NXT, I don't really have that much of a problem because he's exciting. People still like him. But when we have Grayson Waller's match with R-Truth, and he is deciding at 48 years old, he's 48, around 48 years old, and he decides to do a helo over, a forward flip, right over the top turn rope. And Grayson Waller was not in the right position to grab him, and he goes splat onto the mat, and something goes wrong. He is hurt. He held his leg out. He is hurt. Hopefully he didn't break his hip. Hopefully he's okay. But he was grabbing his left leg. He did not land right. He landed splat. And that was the end of that match. And Grayson tried to do his best to make up for it in the commercial. Oh my gosh, that did not look good. He is done. And even though Booker T praises him, we just saw Booker T. We just saw Vic Joseph try to make this work with a hurt R-Truth and a Grayson Waller afterward. Next thing we're going to talk about. Thea versus, well, you know what? I'm really going to, when it comes to Chase U and where are we going to go with Duke Hudson? That's the question. Because Duke helped Thea to win against James. And it didn't work because the ref saw it and Chase saw it. Chase sends him in the back, and Thea gets nailed in the face. And then we get, what is the guy? Dempsey coming back. I forgot his first name. Not Joe Dempsey. I forgot his name. But he comes back, nails Chase, then Duke comes back. So we get this entire circle of Duke being the one that's being depended on. So I don't really know how to feel about Duke Hudson yet. He's interesting. He's setting everybody up to be totally dependent on him, and the one that's disappeared, which we know who's disappeared, the question is going to be, when he comes back, what type of build are we going to get for their story? I'm just saying. Now, the match that is like, well, Odyssey Jones blowing out his patella tendon. He's been gone 10 months. It's good to see you come back. Bradell is the sacrificial jobber for him. Great. Good. It's necessary. And I got to say this, for me personally, I look at Odyssey Jones. Then I look at Top Dollar. Who do I believe that's more legitimate as a wrestler? That's Odyssey Jones. Who do I think might be more charismatic? That's Top Dollar. So, who would I rather care about? Do I care more about a guy who's pretty charismatic, but literally I feel nothing for him in the ring. And only due to the fact he's charismatic because B-Fab is hyping his ass. And then I see Odyssey Jones, who got charisma. He's not garbage. He's got charisma. He needs some development. But when I see Odyssey versus Top, I care more about Odyssey. I think Odyssey will be more substantial than Top Dollar because I still don't feel nothing from Top Dollar on the main roster, but I feel something from Odyssey Jones, who just came back after having a patella tendon explosion. Or rupture, I actually take that back. Rupture, not explosion. I take that back. I'm sorry. Let's move on. We get Starks versus Hartwell. Now, this is a story about the possibility of Nikita Lyons and a Zoe Stark eventually doing this. That's what this looks like. Flat out, this is what it looks like. Am I fond of it? It's okay. To see that they're going to do something with these two because they still get the match next week with the tag champs. Again, because of how it ended last week, which I didn't like. Because doing that bit just makes it worse for when they do this. Particularly if there's some type of screwy ending again. That leads them to go down that route where Nikita Lyons gets nailed by Zoe Starks. And I gotta say this. Nikita Lyons is a damn good looking woman. Zoe Starks is nice looking, but I would fall in love with Nikita Lyons, not because she's a blonde with this, but she's just really sweet. But the point of this situation is, do I think this is going to work due to the fact of the match last week? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to set up the breakup because this is going to have to break up because that's where they're leading. Because if they don't make a breakup right, it's going to suck. Now, I'm going to skip the Jade match due to the fact that this wasn't about Jade and Valentina Leroy. Sorry, not Leroy. Leroy. Valoy. I believe that's her name. It's not about them. This is about the other two guys that she knows that are beginning to build themselves. And that, what was it? Sing and Fierce. That's what this is more about for me personally than seeing that Valentina, who's pretty, and Cora Jade, who's just finished with Roxanne. The question's going to be about them now, even though they will do something with Cora Jade eventually. That's just how I see it. The last match, which was the tag match, as I said in the beginning, didn't really mean much. I knew they weren't going to win. Wes and Braun were not going to win. I knew it wasn't about them. But look what happened. At the end of the match, which wasn't bad, but the end of the match, you get Carmelo Hayes messing with a Wes, and Wes is trying to beat his ass, going into the back, and then you have Braun still in the ring, showing his title, and then get Von Wagner wiping his ass off. But you would have thought they would start with Apollo Crews coming out to see Braun Breaker after what he said earlier in his interview. I think it should have been Apollo Crews first, but then you got Von Wagner next. I think that would have been better than doing it that way. That's just me. Now, two last things to talk about. Schism. Schism and the 1 year anniversary with Mandy Rose were the most important things on this show, for me personally. The interviews were important. I think the interviews were the most... What would be right? Just the interviews. Maybe that would be the titles. Not titles. The title. You never know what you're going to get on my video. I'm always watching. This is what you get, guys. This, if you've never seen my videos before, how you doing? You see me botch. I'm a botchamanic. I am a botchamania. I am everything you know that I'll botch a word. I'll botch multiple words. I forget something and I giggle about it. And I'm hoping I'm entertaining. But let's get to Schism and The Rock's daughter wearing that red eye botch again. Ava Raine talked well. And going like this. Now that could be one or two things. She's trying to remember her lines, which I don't think so, but some people may say that she just blinks because she's trying to think, or she's in character and is acting brainwashed, because when you see how she's let me give you like this. Did I like this segment? Yes, I did, because she spoke very well with everybody of Schism. When it came to Joe Gacy and her, they spoke the best when it came to Vic trying to interview her first. She getting angry saying, look, everyone's always seen me as just one person. When I first came here, everyone saw me as just one way. And then when I got hurt, when I first got into the performance center, no one cared about me. No one tried to call me. No one tried to write. No one tried to do anything. No one text. Zero. I said, right. That shows how old I am. But this guy did, Joe Gacy. Schism did. And it angers me that you're asking me questions when you should be asking these guys behind me as well as him. I am not the goal here. I am not more important to them. And Joe makes it very clear that this is about family, to show what we all can do. Because we are the schism. I like this segment. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's going to like this segment, particularly when you see Ava Rain going like this. I think she did that on purpose to go with her character because, like Cameron Grimes said, she has been brainwashed. Well, what do you think brainwashed people do? I am following nobody. I am independent. I don't think she's doing that because she's trying to remember her lines. I think she's doing that because of character. So that's good if I'm right. Good. Not everyone's going to like it, but I do like it. Now, the 1 year anniversary of Mandy Rose. Did I like the segment of Mandy Rose? Hell yeah. Particularly the video package was very good. But I'm going to be honest here, guys. The video package is good, but I kind of wish they had picked different moments during the video packages. Because, and I'm going to be honest here. Mandy Rose is a damn gorgeous woman. I would be honored if she even gave me the time of day to fall in love with me. But seeing the way she's dressed, and I'm not saying I don't like it. I get to see some titty. I get to see that lovely ass. I get to see that gorgeous face. But I don't have to guess on what the ladies area looks like, because if you didn't notice during the video packages they showed, when it came to Mandy, one of the problems she had, like when she had the segment in the ring when she wore beige, I believe it was beige, a kind of a light beige color, you got to see the lady area and what it looked like, what the shape was, like this, like this. You could see the outline of her ladies area very easily. More than a few times in the bikini and more than a few times in the clothes that she wore. And I kind of wish they had not done that because, well, everyone's going to be looking at it and they'll be thinking about it more than anything. But that's just me. As a reviewer, I am not just reviewing. I want to fuck that. I'm sorry for the cursing, but you get my point. As a reviewer, I'm reviewing how the person talks, how their charisma is, how they work in the ring, how their ring attire is, and in some cases, you got to be careful of your ring attire. Because if you're showing something, unless you want to do it on purpose, you have to notice what you're wearing. Sometimes when it comes to the women, or men for that matter, sometimes you see a bulge a little more than you're supposed to. Sometimes you see a ladies area, a little bit of nipple or something. Hell, when it came to Charlotte, her tit popped out more than a few times with that top of hers. Those fake boobs of hers, there have been shots that someone has caught that a nipple popped out. Now, that happens with women and even men too, wearing something or, you know. But since she's NXT champion, you know what I mean. Now, I want to say this when it comes to Abba Fire. Was this the right segment to do? Yeah, they're still having a feud with her doing it. But I want to say this, and I don't know about anybody else. But when I review for the last year, knowing how Mandy has done, knowing how she built around Toxic Attraction, how to make Toxic Attraction look great, and how they won the tag titles, and how she's managed to keep her titles, has she actually progressed? And as I've said before, when Vince took over NXT 3 years ago, we know Vince took over right beginning of AEW coming into existence. When NXT went on to USA, roughly around the same time, he started taking over in 2019 to 20. We know this. He took it over around, October of 2019, and he took it over, and Triple H didn't. Triple H was sent away, but also got sick at the same time, so we know Vince was in control of it. Very few people were booked correctly, but Mandy was one of those rare few, that not only was booked correctly, but got over and has done a damn good job. What she said in her promo was correct. Everyone saw his eye candy. Everybody saw a piece of her ass. That's what she was. But the moment she came back to NXT, Either they made the choice to send her back or she chose to go back. After that storyline she had with Otis in 2000, she made the right choice to go back if she made the choice. Since then, she worked hard on her stick, hard on her ring work, hard on her persona. And it's well done. Now the only thing that needs to be done when she finally drops that title and goes to the main roster, that's counting if Toxic Attraction goes with her, will they continue booking her as she's been booked in NXT? That's going to be the question for me personally. I do believe that Triple H, if he is doing it right, will do it. I believe when she finally progresses to the point where she can drop the title and leave, and she migrates over to SmackDown or Raw, and I believe she's going to SmackDown. Right now, SmackDown is the only show that's hot right now. Particularly if anybody saw the last Friday. Sammy Uso, baby. Sammy Uso trying to give a little bit of the oosiness to a little bit of Jey Uso, who was going. Jimmy was trying like this. Jay was going like this, trying his best. Roman just cracked up laughing along with Paulie. Paul cracked up. The only persons that was still stone was Solo and Sammy himself. That was awesome. And I truly believe she will go to SmackDown. I just do not see her going on Raw. If they throw her on Raw, as it stands right now, the way Raw looks for me personally, it just doesn't flow right. Yes, there's still many months more for them to try and straighten things out if they ever do. But as it stands right now, the show that's making the best and most highest ratings is SmackDown. And since she's so hot at NXT, it would be the smartest thing to throw on SmackDown. But that's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this lovely, delicious, nutritious, and everything you love of NXT, which honestly was just an okay show. Leave a comment. I'm about to figure what I was about to say. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hopefully somebody's going to listen next to me phone spit in my mouth. Out. Peace.